Hey there, hope all is well. Back at you today with some more RT News updates. And so today I'm going to do something a little bit different since there's so many things happening around the globe, everything from what's happening with the situation in North Korea. We have the situation in Russia and Saudi Arabia. We have our current market here with bond sell-off. We have dollar news. We have cryptocurrency news. So you name it, there's too much stuff to cover in one short video. And I'm not about doing 3, 4, or 5 videos in a day. So I figure what's best other than just to lay out a few articles for you or lay out a lot of articles for you and just give you some of the headline things. And if you're interested in finding out more about it, you can just scroll below, click the link and read more for yourself. So the goal is to give you as much news as I can in a short, concise time. So basically just going to run through a couple articles and let you have a chance to dive in it further for yourself if you're interested. Just because all of these events that's happening around the world are all intertwined in regards to the fact that the US dollar is under threat. And there will be some things happening within the next couple of months, if not year or so, that will alter and change everything you consider to be sound and monetary practices or financial practices. So as always, if you do the RTD, I want to encourage you to click the subscribe button for more news and updates, as well as interviews. And if you want a better idea of what it means to rethink the dollar, I want to encourage you to visit the RTD University page, where I've shared all my prior interviews in one simple format to help you begin rethinking the dollar in this crazy world we're living in. So I want to also leave me your feedback on this presentation. I wanted to make sure that it's something that can be short and effective, but yet leave you informed. So let's dive the very first one here. Just as I mentioned, I'm going to give you where it's located at, and you can click for yourself and give you the title of it, and so you can see what it's all about. And so first one here is from Seeking Alpha, and it's by Jared Dillon. It said bonds and stocks will crash together in the next crisis. Meanwhile, bond yields are going up. So he lays out a pretty good case as to why he believes that bonds and stocks will go down together come this next recession. So if that's of something of interest, feel free to click that link. Next one here is from RT, and it's about the dollar. It says the US dollar will lose its kingpin status. Economist Jim O'Neill speaking about it. So gives a couple of tweets here on how the whole situation with the yuan developing is going to pose a major threat when it comes to Saudi Arabia dealing with how they conduct business with China. So a little bit of information there. If you're interested, feel free to click on that link there. The next one here is from Sputnik, and it says how the developments in Saudi Arabia may foretell the collapse of the petrodollar. So once again, more news from a different news source on what's happening with Saudi Arabia and the usage of the dollar. So quite detailed. Shows a picture of President Trump as along with the king here from his most recent trip not long ago. So if this is something of interest, definitely want to check it out because it has to do with the fact that Saudi Arabia is rethinking the dollar. Next one here. It's from the Wall Street Journal. It says how a new inflation measure would raise taxes on the middle class. And so other than this little quick paragraph here, not able to read much unless you are a subscriber to Wall Street Journal, but just the idea that a new inflation measure would be in place if they raise taxes, you know, or this whole tax reform is definitely something to consider. So this whole issues of this tax reform plan will definitely be a major key in the next couple months. So something to check out if you're interested and if you're a subscriber. Next one here is from Dr. Housing Bubble, and it says San Francisco housing market near bubble risk, according to UBS report. Majority of Bay Area rentals plan to leave. So once again, the housing market. So everyone would agree that the housing market is kind of inflated or extremely inflated right now, borderline in bubble territory. So if you are in the California area and want to find out more about your area, feel free to click on the link to read this one. It's from Mish Talk. It says central bank groupthink convinced the public more inflation is coming. So here we have an article here from some quotes from the Chicago Fed chief, as well as there's a lot of other Fed chair board of governors that are really talking about reshaping the measuring tools for inflation. So, click on this link and read this for yourself. Next one here is from CNBC. It says latest estimates show Senate tax plan will leave low-income households with a higher tax bill. So once again, plays into this whole tax restructuring plan and how you have all this argument amongst both sides of the aisle. But yet, as it's shown throughout time, whenever a government comes together with a plan, it's usually to solve or to further problems that they've already created. So not really going to be a benefit for those that are aware of what's happening with our monetary system. So something to check out if you're interested in finding out more. Very next one here is from Richard Duncan. It says, when stocks fall, expect a recession. So once again, more stock and recession talk. And so this is all stuff coming up in the months and years ahead that can give you a perspective of what's happening. And so if you're interested, feel free to read that one. Next one here, green lights. Ironheart says issues that caused the crisis are not solved. So we have a hedge fund manager who's laying out his case as to why, the things that happened in the 08-09 recession was not solved. It was more so covered up, and how he himself is experiencing some of the side effects of having not the greatest returns on his investments for his clients. So if you're interested in reading that one, feel free to do so. Next one here is from Zero Hedge, and it says Fed hints during next recession it will roll out income targeting and NIRP. So this one is a very good article because it talks about how some of the monetary policy procedures from prior years and decades is all under threat because we are at a zero interest rate level. And so in preparation for the next recession, they need to shake some things up. And so they're talking about target pricing rather than in core inflation. And so idea that they're going to try to set the prices as opposed to accumulating things and measuring things by a basket of currencies is something that, most people are not aware of. And at the end of the day, because this monetary policy is against you and I as savers and investors, it's going to hurt us more than it's going to help us. And the consequence will be more monetary easing in the form of possibly directing cash directly into your and I pockets, or some type of saving where they'll inject money right into the economy directly. So some of the things they talk about in the article there, if you're interested. Next one here is from CNBC. It says investors are fleeing junk bonds in near record numbers, a troubling signal for the stock market. So once again, a couple articles past, we talk about recession, we talk about stock market and all those things that are, on the horizon. And so we have more news sources giving information on what could be in the works or what's already underway, just not really hitting mainstream yet. So if you're interested in finding out more about this article and hearing this interview from these two gentlemen here, feel free to click on the link for more. Next one here is from Bloomberg. It says China's central bank turns on the taps and stemming slumps in bonds. So they're having some problems with their economy because of the massive amounts of debt they have. So the Public Bank of China is easing a little bit by, as it says, the People's Bank of China pumped in a net 310 billion yuan through repurchase agreements on Thursday, the biggest one-day addition since January 18th. So they're pumping in funny money into their economy to keep it going. So it's definitely something that would trickle this way if there was some type of systemic or economic collapse in China. It's going to impact the whole world. Predominantly the fact that everything is made in China. So there will be problems with some logistically problems with things heading our way. So definitely worth checking out. Next one here is from the Globe and Mail. It says cheap ECB cash still key for Eurozone economy, says Draghi. So here we have in Europe, they're having major problems there. So they're easing and buying up everything they can, or counterfeiting money to buy up everything they can. And so he's saying that basically more cash is still on the way. So if stuff goes wrong there, of course, as always, it's going to affect the U.S. economy as well. So definitely something worth checking out. And then the next one here, the last one here, is from the Martin Armstrong, an economist slash insider slash guy who's well informed. And he says EU preparing for a banking crisis. So article before was on cheap cash or easy cash being pumped into the EU. And then this one here talks about preparation for a banking crisis. So there are situations in Italy right now where the banking, because of debt, they're having problems. So that's kind of what's happening in the news. But wanted to give you a lot of articles today to give you something, to give you an overall theme of what's happening in our economy. And so from all these articles I covered, it covers everything relevant to what's happening from the dollar, from the bonds, from happening in Europe, happening in China. So all that right there is interconnected, and it's going to come back to impact you and I both, because we are dependent upon the US dollar if you're a citizen in the US. So want to just do something different today, present all of this news to you, give you something to think about. Other than that, I would love your feedback on this presentation. Let me know what you think. Is this something that puts out more news in a more concise manner that allow people to, get a better idea or tone of what's happening in the news? And so other than that, looking forward to bringing more news updates. Hope you enjoyed this presentation. Let me know your thoughts below. Looking forward to hopefully doing more like this to get more news out there and to give you a better viewpoint. So other than that, enjoy the rest of your day.